Hello, Dutch football fans. Welcome back to Football-Oranje. Netherlands against Ireland, one of the final qualifiers ahead of the Euros. The Netherlands are all but there. We're very excited to see how Koeman will yet again prepare the team ahead of what looks like to be an exciting Euros ahead. And what left is there to do? What left is there to solve? We've got a couple of games over this international break before a long pause without the Netherlands until about March. We'll be very sad and we've missed them greatly. I'm Michael Statham. We've got Mike here. We've got Abdul here to talk about the game, to talk about the Netherlands in general. So sit tight. Wherever you're listening or watching, give us a like. If you're on YouTube, give us a like and subscribe if you're new. Get involved in the comments. As always, our comment sections are always lively with your thoughts on the Netherlands. So do make sure you leave something there. If you're listening on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or SoundCloud, it'll be up on there too. Give us a rating, give us a like, and just get involved. Mike, Abdul, how are we both doing? Are you looking forward to this?
Yeah, I'm really excited about the match. It's going to be a first time for a long time, actually. I can watch and enjoy watching a match for Orania without being nervous. The past matches in the group, we were really nervous. The team wasn't stable. We made many mistakes. We lost some matches against two matches against France, and of course, we lost before that in the Nations League. So we were kind of shaky. We weren't really confident about the team, but now after the good results we had, it's good to watch the game without any tensions. There are so many injuries, of course, I'm expecting some new players to play in the match. We need, of course, one win to qualify out of the two matches, so that will even make it easier and easier, and that's really great for us.
Yeah, I think that I'd have put perfectly that we're going into these games without any apprehension, which is not something that we've had for a long time. And yeah, we can just enjoy the fact that we should beat Republic of Ireland on Saturday. Then we've got a game that's a case of how many goals can we score. So yeah, I think that this is an international break that I've been looking forward to. There's some new names in the squad. So yeah, it'll be exciting to see them and how they do. And yeah, it's just I think that these games, we're not going to learn much from these two because of the injuries and because of the quality of the teams that we're going to play. But it's going to be nice to see Netherlands go out and win two games, which they pretty much should do in these two games. So yeah, it'll just be nice to watch and enjoy them.
So for like the ins and the outs, and commentators I'm sure will bring this up at the beginning of their commentary of the Netherlands' games. But what is like the official situation with regards to qualification? What is the picture surrounding this game?
There's really nothing special to say. I think we should win both games. If we win both games, or one of them at least, we will be second. Of course, we lost the chances to lead the group. We will be second, and most likely we will be in part three in the draw, which is going to be in December 2nd,
Right.
I think. So yeah, so we will be in part three in the draw. But of course, we need to beat the Republic of Ireland to keep our position in the FIFA ranking. That's very important. It's even important for the draw for the World Cup qualifier. And of course, Gibraltar is supposed to be the easiest match in the entire competition. So we should really win this match as well.
How are you both feeling about being in pot three? And how has it come to that moment? Because aren't the Netherlands really highly rated in the world rankings? What's ended up with them being in pot three?
It's because they are depending on the Euro 24 qualifier to set the groups and to set the pots. It's not really depending on the FIFA ranking. And since we came second in the group and we lost both matches to France, that will unfortunately make us in pot three.
Well explained. Thanks, Abdul.
Yeah.
Looking ahead to this game, there are going to be two games that we expect to win, and there's only so much therefore you can learn. The Ireland game is tougher. Gibraltar, what are we really going to gain from it? It's just adding caps, adding goals. Great, really enjoy it, have a smile on our face, but we're not going to get much of it in terms of the Euros. So how much can Koeman realistically do, despite the fact we are a while away from the tournament? we've got these 2 games now. We've got the ones in March. What can he look to improve?
For me, he can improve the midfield. I think that he has to look at options that if Frankie de Jong, for some reason, is not there in the summer, who's he going to pick is free. And I don't think he's decided that yet. I think that these games, if you don't have de Jong, he's basically got most of the group they would have fit and available. So he needs to decide, does Reinders start? Who plays next to Reinders? Is it Xavi Simons that's the 10? Does Veerman come into it? I think that these are decisions that he needs to make this week. And then, yeah, you've got, we've already seen in his press conference today, he's already said Verbruggen is number 1 going forward. So he's made that decision. And yeah, you've got things like, does Hartman continue to impress? Does he nail down the fact that he's going to be a left back up front? Does Cody Gakpo and Wout Weghorst work as a partnership the way he wants it to? Does maybe Cody Gakpo need somebody with a bit more pace? Does he need somebody like Dalinga? See what he can do. So I think there is a few questions that can be answered in these games. It's just a shame that we're not going into full strength. But when you've got 2 games that you should win, it's quite nice to see a couple of new faces so you can get excited about a couple of debuts instead of just, because if Koeman could have, he would have picked the exact same full strength squad and had no new faces because he wants to have that tight group. But I think it's nicer to see Jarell Hato in there, nicer to see Thijs Dalinga in there, Jerry Shoughton coming back. He deserves that. So I think there's a few things, a couple of players that need to impress in these games, and I think that's what we can look forward to.
Well, what also concerns me, how he's going to play against Republic of Ireland. Is he going to play 5-3-2 to get used to the plan more and more, or he's going to play 4-3-3 and try to improve it, since we are playing against a lower opponent, an opponent that we can actually defeat. So maybe he will focus on 4-3-3 in both matches against Gibraltar and, of course, before that, Republic of Ireland. And I agree with Michael. We need really to find some other players who can play with the Frankie de Jong in the midfield, whether he's injured or not. I think we kind of solved this problem for now with the Reinders. I think we all agree that he should be a starter, but who's going to be also in the midfield? Still, I don't know really. Weaver hasn't really impressed much with Oranje. Veerman, I'm not really sure about. We just have to think of maybe Schouten from PSV. Maybe he's the one who can fulfill that position. So I think he should find answers to these questions in the next couple of matches.
It's a good point about the formation. When we had the World Cup, Van Gaal stuck with a 5-3-2 when we're playing Qatar, and it wasn't necessary to have that, but he wanted to practice it, keep it going. He made a point of that, and to keep the winning formula, he didn't rest too many people. Koeman might do something similar and the same rationale, which is fair enough. He knows that the 4-3-3 will work. They always know how to play that. They've been doing it for years in their career. So I don't think he needs to change it. It just needs to make sure the wing backs are pushed up high enough and they're used a lot more and have a bit more license. Hartman's very capable coming forwards and has been really good for Feyenoord. I really enjoyed watching his performances. Another one as well, definitely won over on Quentin Timber. I think was it Abdul in particular? I don't know if it was you, Mike, as well, but you were calling for him to get involved, and it's like, not sure yet. It's not quite that special. But watching recently, he's just a man on the up. Like he's so good.
Yeah, he just scored an amazing goal against AZ as well. He's been doing great, and I've been thinking about him joining Oranje since November last year. If you remember, I talked about him right after the match with Argentina. I was hoping that he could have a chance with Oranje. So, but Koeman kept the door open for him to join Oranje anytime.
That's the formation. I think he should be going 4-3-3 for these 2 games. I suspect he will for Gibraltar, but Ireland he'll keep it with a 5. And then it's who's going to come in and impress. I don't think he's going to change too many, but there are a couple of enforced changes, as there were in the previous international break. But I'm looking forward to seeing a few different people who do you think is likely to get in there? I reckon Statham probably will get a cap and his hat, but I don't know. Do we see some different defenders now that there are a few injuries there? De Vrij is still really capable, but we might have to play now.
I think I would think of De Vrij, Van Dijk, and Blind, since Koeman insists on a defender who's left-footed. So I think it's going to be Blind, Van Dijk, and De Vrij. These are the best three, I think, for Oranje now. But maybe Koeman will choose Geertruida, which the player who hasn't really impressed with Oranje. And we were criticizing him a lot the past few matches. But I think these three, De Vrij, Van Dijk, and Blind. Maybe the left back will be Hartman. The right back, I would love to see Frimpong playing, at least this match, since we are almost through. I think he deserves a chance to play a full match or to be a starter at least. That's for the defense. If you want me to continue for the midfield and the
What do we
front line.
just talk on the defense a minute? Just on Geertruida, I found him at fault when Feyenoord lost at Lazio. He was not in line with his defenders. The other defenders were calling for the offside, and Geertruida fell asleep.
He's the one who broke the offside. Yes,
Immobile onside. Yeah, but on the whole, he's such a strong defender. But these little things in his game have got to go, because that was a big error. And you're thinking, if he could kick on, he could go and have a great transfer from Feyenoord and become important for the national team. But the minute some things are still there in his game.
Yeah, I think that I think Koeman will start him, because I think that having De Vrij, Van Dijk, and Blind, even though it's against Republic of Ireland, it's free aging centre backs at the back, so you might go for Geertruida just to step into the midfield and bring the ball forward. But yeah, he doesn't seem to me to strike me as somebody that you can rely on at the moment to not put a foot wrong. He's kind of like when Jordan Teze was getting a game for the Netherlands, and he was like a heart attack waiting to happen. And it was like Mickey van de Ven at left back. You knew something was going to go wrong every single time that he was getting attacked. So he doesn't have this calmness that he has, sometimes when he plays for Feyenoord. And that's what a national team. That's what happens when you play for a national team. Some players can handle it at club level, can play week in week out, put on that orange shirt, and they just turn to jelly, and then they make these mistakes. And right now, Geertruida looks like he's in the wrong camp at the moment, and then he's got to prove himself. Maybe this is the 2 games that he can come in and shine in, but then you look at the opposition and then you wonder if that's maybe his sort of level. And then when you play against the bigger nations, you need to go to the Licks, the Timbers to come in and deputise for him.
Stepping into midfield then, Abdul, you're quite keen to finish off your team. Who comes back in then with people back from injury in midfield and in attack?
For now, you mean? For now, definitely it's Reinders. The match against Republic of Ireland. I would think of Reinders, maybe Schouten, and Koop Miners maybe in the midfield.
The 3 of them together against Ireland? Wouldn't you go with 2 and then have someone more attacking like Simons?
Well, I thought of Simons actually, but he hasn't been impressing, and he hasn't been very impressive in that position. When we play 5-3-2 and he plays behind the attackers, he kind of disappears really. So that's why I have my doubts. Or maybe Veerman. Maybe I would choose Veerman, who has some attacking abilities. So maybe it will be Reinders, Schouten, and Veerman.
By you, Mike?
I think Reinders is a certainty, and then we've got to look at who Koeman thinks is the one. I'd like to see Schouten in there, but I think that bringing him in straight away and then chucking him straight into midfield, I think he'll be a substitute in this game. Part of me, I don't want to see him, but part of me thinks he's going to start with Koop Miners alongside Reinders. I think that's what he's going to start with. But I'd prefer to see Schouten, and then I really want Xavi Simons to succeed. I want him to bring that form that he's showing at Leipzig into national team. So I'd put him at the 10 in these 2 games, just in the hope that he finds himself in the national team and scores that first goal. Because I think if he scores that first goal, it'll be a weight off his shoulders, and then he can kick on from then.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd put him at number 10.
That's fair. And then an attack. Talk me through who's back from injury, Mike. Some people missing last time. Who's back, and what would you play?
I mean, who's back? Not very many people are back. I think there's only 4 attackers in the squad, and the only one that's back is Cody Gakpo.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's Cody Gakpo, Weghorst. It
was
Daniel Malen.
Brobby and Bergwijn, wasn't it? But now,
Yeah. And now it's
You have
Thijs de
Malen as
Linga.
well. You have Malen and Delinga. So
Yeah.
maybe I would say Malen, Gakpo, and Simmons. If we play 4-3-3. If it's 5-3-2, I would say Gakpo and Simmons.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that just what he's doing without Weghorst, I think that Weghorst will start. I don't want to see him start. I really don't. But I've watched the video.
Do you? Because I thought that he would. No, go on. I just thought that he wouldn't play now. I think he might have called on him a little bit.
No, because Netherlands do this thing on YouTube where they do an arrival video. I don't know if you've ever watched it, where the players arrive and it's just 5 minutes of them all shaking hands and having a few comments. And Koeman says to Weghorst, "We're going to need you fit for these 2 games." So I think that obviously it's just, you can say it's just a bit of patter, but I think that the Weghorst will start. I think you'll want the 9, and then even in his press conference today, he said that, because he was talking about Thijs de Linga, and he was like, "Yeah, he's doing well, but I'd rather have Weghorst than Brobby. But now that I can't, he's here," which is a massive confidence boost if you're de Linga. But yeah, I think we're going to see Weghorst, even though he's not in form at club level at all. Yeah, I think he'll start, and then you got Cody Gakpo as the other one if it's a 5-3-2.
So it's most likely
I
it's going to
wonder
be.
whether.
Sorry, it's most likely it's going to be 5-3-2 in the first half, and then maybe 4-3-3 in the second half.
What, when they're losing 1-0?
Oh no!
Panic.
Maybe
4-3-3.
he's going to try something new.
They're a capable team still, even though there's these players missing. If you were to go to the Euros now, Mike, now we asked this a lot on our live streams. By the way, a little cheeky plug, after the Ireland and Gibraltar game, we will be streaming live, of course, on YouTube. But if you were to pick the attack, just the attack for the Euros, who plays in that front 3?
If they're all fully fit, I would go Gakpo. I would go Noah Lang, and then
Go on, same
possibly Memphis through the middle.
Trigger Abdul.
If you those front 3. But yeah, that's if they're all fully fit and ready. I think that still is the best front 3 that we have. I mean, you hope so. I mean, Noah Lang's shortly going to be back.
Yeah.
Memphis Depay seems to have
isn't it? What's going on with him?
Yeah. Nobody knows. I mean, Atletico Madrid are silent. They don't know when he's going to be back. He doesn't seem to be doing any training at the moment. So it seems like he's one of these players that's just out until, God knows how long it takes. But Atletico Madrid seem to be in the dark. I think the Spanish press was saying last week that Simeone had said that he doesn't know how long it'll be before Memphis is back in training. So we could be looking at a few months still, and then it gives other players an opportunity. But even if Memphis comes back with a month to go, he's still going to get in the squads because he's that important a player for Koeman. So yeah, it'd be a massive blow if he didn't make it. But at the moment, I would say he's still got a good chance to get back fit for them.
Yeah, that he's still massively important, and you hopefully have enough time to play some games in March. What other games in March have been decided?
Not yet, no.
But you'd expect they'll pick up some big tests.
Most likely,
England were
yes.
announcing theirs. Yeah.
Yeah, we should have at least a couple of matches on March, so we will see in March. I mean, yeah. But
Personally,
speaking of Memphis, what if he's a sub? What if he comes back and stays as a sub? Do you think he should be a starter over Gakpo or Simmons or even Broby, who, the three of them are starters with their teams?
Yeah, I do, because he's better than them. And if you put Gakpo out on the wing, you get Gakpo and Memphis all in one go. But if you go with, say, Lang, Simmons, Gakpo, you haven't got a striker. Memphis by trade wasn't a striker to begin with. But I think you need him in there to do that role, because you don't want Weghorst in there instead. Broby,
No.
the amount of times we've spoken about him, so much right in his game, but he's not there. And because he's not there, we can't call upon him. We thought by now in his career he might be ready for something like this, be the first choice striker for Netherlands, but he still doesn't score often enough. His composure isn't there. But he holds the ball really well. He's strong. We can all see what he's been doing for Ajax. He's not actually been that bad for them. And he scored a few goals. He scored a header. Oh yes, that's what you want to see from Broby. Different type of striker than what Ajax are used to, but he's so necessary in the way that they play. So if they used him as a direct thing, then yeah, maybe that's his best weapon. He's the replacement for Weghorst, being a bit of a pinch hitter.
But I would still say that Broby is young, and 8 months from now is a long time for a younger player. He could develop. And of course, not to forget that if Noah Lang is back, then Gakpo could also be a striker. So we could have a very big competition on that position. It's going to be Dallinga. If he performs well with Orania, we're going to have Gakpo, Broby, and Memphis. I think one of them will have to prove himself then. I don't think Koeman will depend on the name only.
Yeah, I
think if you compare that to what... Go on, Mike.
I was going to say, for me, it's with Broby. I think Koeman was right. Like, I think I think it speaks of modern people at the moment that Koeman said that you can't finish, which we all know is true. You can't finish, and then he gets sort of criticised, and everyone's like, "Oh, poor Brian Broby," and then Koeman has to come out and sort of say like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that." But how's he ever going to improve if you don't tell him, "Look, you need to improve your finishing"? Everyone can see it. He doesn't score enough. And he needs to do that. I think that they're working on it at Ajax. I think they're bringing in new striker coaches, which is what he needs. He needs to learn how to finish, and if he can do that, he's got everything to be one of the best strikers in Europe. But his finishing is that bad that it needs worked on. And right now, if you're picking a striker for the Netherlands, if they create chances and create chances against these sides, I'd rather have someone like Dallinga in there to finish them off, rather than have somebody like Broby who's just gonna waste half of them, to be honest.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, we should not even forget about Stings. He could also have a place in this team.
As a number 10.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, I think that would work. It's about getting them all right together, isn't it? And in the number 10, we don't have like that absolute got to go for them, because Simons is still played out in the wing sometimes, isn't he? When he's probably better in that 10 position. But like you said, he hasn't quite performed yet. With
I'm talking about Stings, who really developed big time with Feyenoord. Maybe he could be a starter also with Orania. Yeah. And of course, that also depends on how good Feyenoord performs in the Champions League. If they go to the next round, I think Stings will be playing a big role in that, and maybe he will attract attention to be a starter for Orania. Who knows?
Just as an aside, guys, we're a Dutch football podcast. Don't just talk about the Netherlands, as people know. Feyenoord, PSV, Ajax, RZ. What we're thinking for getting out of those group stages. It's not looking great, is it?
No, I think Champions League wise, it's set up well, but I think that AZ, no, Ajax would be fortunate to finish third. I think that's what they're looking for, to go down to the Conference League. But I still have confidence that both PSV and Feyenoord can get out of their groups.
I'm worried
It's
that we'll see final go through and meet like Bayern Munich. Fantastic. And then that's their road done. Not always. I mean, the draw, it depends what it throws up.
but
PSV, same thing could happen. Or if they drop down to thirds, I still think that Peter Bosch, his side isn't set up for these games. They can see too many goals or chances. Yeah, Ajax, I reckon it's going to be that home match against Athens at season 3. Then RZ, they're going to have to win both their games. And winning in Poland is very hard.
It's really going to be the biggest boost for the Dutch coefficient if Ajax and if PSV and Feyenoord go to the second round. Every team will get 5 bonus points, so that will make a very big jump for Dutch football. And I think it's really good for Ajax to come third in the group. I want them to come third. I don't think the team is good enough to compete, in the second round of the Europa League. Maybe Conference League is good for Ajax for now. AZ, if they win the next 2 matches, they can make it. They can come second. So it's all in their hands now, and the opponents are not really that strong. AZ can handle them. Liga Warsaw is a tough team, but AZ can handle them. So there is a possibility for AZ as well. I hope I can see the 4 teams make it to the second round of whatever competition there is,
I just don't see it happening. I think there's going to be maybe one miracle, but we're going to need another 2 or 3, aren't we, to keep it going for the Netherlands.
But I don't think the dropping down from Champions League to Europa League is bad for Feyenoord or PSV if they finish third. I think both of them could go further in that competition as well. The club that worries me is AZ, because I just don't get what Pascal Jansen's doing there. I just don't know what he's doing with squad selection. I don't know what he's doing with the constant substitutions of average players. And for me, he's sort of losing it. So he's had such a good start to the season that I think it's all now going to fall away. I think that if Pavlidis decides to go in January, then their season is just going to fold. And then Pascal Jansen's just going to. The pressure's even on. I think some fans are already calling for him to be sacked. So
yeah,
the pressure's even getting even higher for him.
Right, I need to quickly pretend we're talking about Netherlands against Ireland again. We haven't mentioned Ireland like at all as a threat, but the thing is that isn't it better if they lose for their qualification hopes? Is there anyone that you think maybe not to be worried about for the Dutch, because this is almost like a friendly at this point? Is there anyone that you're looking forward to the Netherlands playing as like a challenge to go? This battle will be really interesting to see whether a certain player in the Dutch side is cut out for this level.
Evan Ferguson, I guess, would be the one that you look at for Ireland and say that he's got some qualities. But I don't think we've really mentioned it, but Van Dijk is coming for a lot of criticism from myself as well over the past year for his performances, but he's been outstanding for Liverpool this season. I think all the stats have him probably as the best centre back in the Premier League stats wise this season. So I think that even if Evan Ferguson starts, I still have high hopes that Van Dijk would keep him quiet, because he's been doing it in the Premier League, so he can do it against a Premier League striker anyway. But looking around the rest of the Ireland team, there's not very many names that strike me as having much quality. And I know that sounds disrespectful to Republic of Ireland, but this isn't a Republic of Ireland team that was around when Roy Keane was there and some of the players that they had before that actually beat the Netherlands and knocked them out of World Cup qualifying. That's not this Ireland side. So this is one that really lacks quality all over the pitch.
I think their fans know it as well, don't they? And they're fully expecting to get beat here.
Yeah, I mean, you can also know that by their results. They only had 6 points in the group. They lost all the matches. They only beat, I think, Gibraltar twice, and that's it, if I'm not mistaken. So the team is really struggling, and I could see that when they played Holland. The match was in Ireland, but still they only dependent on the element of surprise. Once that was gone, we won the match. So I think this Irish team is not as strong as the previous Irish teams I've always followed, in previous World Cups and Euros.
Yeah, no, that's very fair comment. So, you don't expect any Any further surprises then from Koeman and from the Netherlands? We know there's a few players we want to see, but we don't expect any huge shocks or surprises in the lineup selection.
No, I don't. I wouldn't say so. I think that he's going to use these 2 games to consolidate. He'll go with his strongest 11 against Ireland just to get the win, get the job done against them, and then maybe he can go a few experiments against Gibraltar, give Frimpong his deserved start, maybe give a couple of players, Hato, Dolinga's debut in the second half of that game. Yeah, I wouldn't expect many surprises in formation or lineup against Ireland, but then Gibraltar is one that we can look forward to maybe some debuts and changes.
The only thing we are sure about is Verbruggen. Koeman said he's going to be the starter most likely. Yeah, so.
And that surprised me. I thought Barlow might have come back in for at least one of these games.
But yeah, I guess it's constant, and you had Verbruggen in the last 2 games, and he didn't put a foot wrong, so you really drop him. It's the sort of thing with a goalkeeper where you don't drop him until they sort of make a clanger. So Verbruggen's got it now until he makes a mistake, and then somebody else will come in. But let's just hope he doesn't ever make a mistake, and then he can keep going.
So predictions for the game then against the Republic of Ireland, what we're thinking. Abdul, you first.
Thinking of, you mean the result?
Yeah.
I would say 2-0 for Oranje.
Mike?
I'm going to go for a 3-0.
I'm going to go 4-1. Yeah. I think there's more goals in this time. Yeah, I'm quite confident here. I mean, against Gibraltar, we probably speak about a few more goals, but yeah. I think at home, Ireland, maybe in the second half, they don't need to be played for very much. Netherlands go for it. Subs come on, maybe want to impress. So yeah, I'll go 4-1. Just hope it's a worthwhile game to watch and enjoy, really. It's just some entertainment.
One interesting name that I didn't realise was part of the Republic of Ireland squad is Troy Parrott, the Excelsior striker. He's actually doing all right in Excelsior this season and got a couple of assists and goals so far for them. So we still got a little bit of a Dutch connection in that squad.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's a good player. Needs some more starts for Excelsior. Thanks, guys. It's been good, and we will of course do a live stream after the game. We're all confident of a Netherlands win, but what are you thinking now, listeners and watchers? Leave a comment on the YouTube comments if you're on there. Something I've noticed is that I wonder if people have a notification bell turned on YouTube, and if not, turn it on so then you get your notifications as to when we're going live, but also when we load something new for you. Of course, we don't just do things on YouTube. Our podcasts are available on other platforms for you to listen. You don't have to watch us on a screen. You can listen to us, download us. And of course, we do lots more on the website too, and over on Twitter. So go and find our website and our Twitter if you're new to what we do at Football-Oranje. Thanks for watching. Get your score predictions down below in the comments and who you would like to see play. What lineup do you expect? Bye from us for now.